Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. We are super pumped to have you all on board. So, today's webinar is going to be about what you can learn from analyzing your visitor behavior. I'm Pavitra Rajshekaran. I take care of content marketing for Zoho PageSense. And with me, I have my colleague, Vignesh Prakash, our business development lead. So, now let's take a quick look at today's agenda. So, the agenda goes like this. What is visitor behavior? Visitor behavior analysis and its types. Benefits of analyzing your visitors' online behavior. How Zoho PageSense can help you with this. And then Vignesh will give you a complete walkthrough of PageSense. And finally, we have a QA session planned for you guys. So if you have any doubts during the webinar, you can just drop them in the QA section that you see on the left side of your screen, and we'll take them up later. So let's get down to business. If someone asked me what's the most challenging part of my job as a marketer, without batting an eyelid, I'd probably say tracking and analyzing my website visitors. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you would agree with me on this because this is easily one of the most crucial parts of any online business. So before we talk about why you should analyze your visitors and how to go about it, let's first quickly run through visitor behavior and its analysis. So what is visitor behavior? Visitor behavior is nothing but the actions your visitors take on your website. So it could be anything like what they click on, where they click, how they scroll down a page, what obstacles they face while navigating through your site, and even what makes them drop off. So if you want to put it really simply, visitor behavior is just your visitors' interaction with your website. So that said, now what is visitor behavior analysis? The process of collecting, consolidating, and analyzing your visitor data to understand how they interact with your website is called visitor behavior analysis. This gives you a clear picture of how some very important pages on your website, like homepage, payment page, product page, and other landing pages are performing. You'll get to know if these pages are keeping your visitors engaged and if they're actually solving their pain points. So ultimately, it will help you understand your audience better. So basically, there are two types of analysis that you can conduct. That is quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis. Quantitative analytic tools will tell you how your website is performing. For instance, they'll give you stats and numbers like conversion rate, bounce rate, page views, etc. Which means they'll tell you how things are on your website, but they won't tell you why things are the way they are. On the other hand, qualitative analysis tools will tell you the whys. They'll let you step into your visitor's shoes and give you a taste of your own website experience from the perspective of your visitors. This way, you get to know what your visitors liked, what they did not like, and you can tweak your website accordingly. So that's about the basics you needed to know. Now, let's jump into the crux of our webinar, which is what do you get by analyzing your visitor behavior? Get to know your visitors' interests. By analyzing your visitor behavior, you get first-hand insight into what your visitors are interested in and what they ignore. So by knowing what kind of content your visitors are gravitating towards, you will have a fair idea about how you can keep them engaged in the future. So for example, if a particular blog post is doing really well on your website, then you can continue to write along the same lines and post more of what your visitors find valuable and what they find interesting. Identify the source of your webinar traffic. Visitor behavior analysis will tell you where the majority of your website visitors are coming from. This could be really helpful when you're targeting visitors from a specific region. But then this is not just about the geographical location. You can even know how your visitors discovered you and what brought them here. Did they find you through organic search, or did your referral traffic direct them here? Things like that. So by knowing all of this, you can track your content ROI and channelize your efforts in the areas that work out well for you. For instance, let's say you find out that a majority of your top performing countries are not English speaking ones. So you can work on localizing the content and start sending region specific campaigns to target the audience in those regions. Improve your visitors' website experience. So, broken pages and unresponsive design can be a huge turn off for your visitors. And the worst part is, you might not even be aware of this until someone points it out for you. A visitor behavior analysis will help you discover these little things that you might be missing. For instance, your checkout process might be too long, a form could take too long to load, or your website's navigation might have some sort of friction, or there might be some leak in your website's purchase funnel. So, this analysis will give you a lot of insight based on which you can improve your visitors' website experience. And finally, increase your website conversion. A good website experience is synonymous to great conversions. So, if you want a website that converts, you should first make sure it solves your visitors' pain points and gives them easy access to what they came looking for. So, when I say conversions, it can mean anything. For example, for an online store, it can be the number of products they sold. For a B2B SaaS company, it could be increasing their leads. And maybe for a YouTuber who vlogs regularly, it can be the number of views on a particular video. So, by knowing your visitors and optimizing your website to suit their needs, you will ultimately improve your conversions. So, now let's see how PageSense can help you achieve this. Before that, for those of you who are new here to Zoho PageSense, PageSense is a conversion optimization and personalization platform. It helps you track your key website metrics like link clicks, number of conversions, conversion rate, bounce rate, and so on. It will also help you analyze your visitors, understand their online behavior, and see how they interact with each element on your site. And with all of these inputs, you'll be able to optimize your site and personalize it for your visitors and increase your conversion rates. So, a lot of products in the market today either have quantitative tools or qualitative tools. But PageSense brings you the best of both these worlds. It equips you with both quantitative and qualitative tools. Now, I'll quickly take you through the various features in PageSense that will help you analyze your visitor behavior. PageSense helps you track website goals. Goals are nothing but the actions you want your website visitors to take after they land on your page. It could be a simple link click or even a sign up to your newsletter. All you need to do is define what you want your visitors to achieve on your site. So here in this report, you can see the number of visitors, the conversions, the conversion rate, and the average time your visitors take to perform an action. The next thing you can do is create a conversion funnel. A conversion funnel is the path your visitors take to become your customers. So, for example, for an e-commerce business, it could be a landing page where you've showcased all your products, followed by a product page, a purchase page, and finally a thank you page. For a B2B SaaS business, it would probably be something like a home page, followed by a demo page, and then a thank you page. Your conversion funnel will also tell you how visitors progress from one page to another. So here in this example, you can see that there has been 89.99% drop off from the home page. This means that 90% of your visitors who landed on your home page have not progressed to the next step. So from this, you know that there is something wrong with the home page that needs to be fixed. Now, this is where heat maps comes in. You can create a heat map to understand how visitors interact with all the elements on your website, which means heat maps are basically a visual representation of your visitors' behavior. PageSense also offers scroll maps and attention maps. The scroll maps will tell you how far down your visitors are scrolling on your page, and the attention maps will tell you how much time your visitors spend on which fold of your page. Once you've identified how your visitors interact with your website, you can take this to the next level and create a session recording. Session recordings are video playbacks of your visitors' interaction with your website. So they basically give you this ability to understand your visitors' journey on your website. And as a marketer, you can imagine how insightful this can be for your business. And by using session recording, you can identify the major UX and UI flaws and where visitors get stuck on your site. And then comes the form analytics. Any website will have a lead generation form. With the help of form analytics, you'll be able to see how your visitors interact with each field on your form. You can identify the fields that cause friction and the fields that cause drop-off. Once you've identified these fields, you can tweak them or maybe even remove them and increase your form submissions. And if you want to check if this change has actually had any effect on the form submissions, you can run an A/B test. In PageSense, you can create variations of your page and see which variation wins and strikes a chord with your visitors. So in this particular example, we've created two variations of the same form. In one variation, we've removed the phone number field, and in the other variation, we've removed the name field. Here, you can see that the form without the name field has done much better and has more conversions than the other one. So this way, whenever you're in doubt, you can just A/B test and see the results for yourself. And that's not all. We also have personalization, where you can dynamically change the content of your website based on your visitors' demographics. So let's say you own a clothing store. In this example here, Zilko Fashion is a clothing store which caters to US and Australian markets. So the catch here is, when it's winter in the US, it's prime summer in Australia. So without changing your website completely, you can use PageSense's personalization feature and just change the content. That is, display dynamic content based on that geography. So when a visitor sees this page from the US, they'll probably see winter clothing. On the other hand, when someone is viewing the same page from Australia, they'll be able to see the summer clothing. PageSense also lets you create polls to understand your visitors. So you can ask open-ended questions and run surveys and learn what makes for a better user experience directly from your website visitors. You can then take your engagement game to the next level with push notifications. So when a visitor opts in to receive notifications, you can trigger messages to retarget them, send featured announcements, and even transactional messages. And finally, you have the pop-up feature, where you can create, customize, and deliver dynamic pop-ups to grab the attention of your visitors and turn them into customers. So that's pretty much it from my side. Now Vignesh will give you a complete walkthrough of Zoho PageSense.
So I'll be giving you a brief walkthrough of Zoho PageSense today. I'll be covering all the features and everything of Zoho PageSense. So here you're seeing the Zoho PageSense dashboard. And we have, to give you a brief about Zoho PageSense, we have 5 different modules in Zoho PageSense. The track and analyze part, which helps you to understand the user behavior and user data on your website and everything. So based on the data that you collect from the website, so you would be able to build hypothesis, and you would be able to test and run experiments, A/B testing and split URL testing for your website for better conversion rates. And you would also be able to do personalization of content for your users based on the different segmentation of users that you can do. So apart from this, we also have the engage module, wherein like you would be able to run polls, push notifications, and pop-ups for your website. Now, starting off with this, so the foremost thing about the Zoho PageSense is that the configuration is that you need to add the code snippet onto your website header code. So once you have added the PageSense code snippet onto your website header code, you will be able to start tracking the data for all the experiments that you're doing. The first feature of Zoho PageSense is goals. So in goals, you would be able to configure 4 different types of goals. So the click on elements, wherein like you would be able to track the buttons and other elements of your website. Then you have the click on links, wherein like you would be able to track the links that redirects to a different web page or website, and you would be able to track them. And then the time spent on the page. Say for example, you have a video on your homepage or any other page of your website, and you would like to see like how much time the user spent on the page. You can configure that using the time spent on the page. Then we also have the custom event, wherein like you would be able to track user data for all the activities that are not trackable. Like you do not have a success function. In that case, you can use a custom event to track them. So now coming to the data part. So once you have launched the goals feature, so you would be able to see the data like this, wherein like you would be able to see the total number of visitors and the total number of conversions that have happened, the conversion rate, and average time that is taken to convert. So you would be able to slice and dice the data using the data segment here. I mean, like the date segmentation here, and also you would be able to do the segment audience feature. So also in the reports feature, you would be able to see the mapping of the goal metrics on a daily basis, how many conversions have happened on a daily basis, and what is the conversion rate, and also the visitor rate on daily basis. Then, apart from this, you would be also able to see the performance by time, like which day of the week or day of which hour of the day the conversion is at maximum and everything. Let's say, like here, example, like on the 17th hour of a Wednesday, you have a conversion of close to 1.7%. And then you would be able to see where the traffic is coming from, the source, like if they're from direct or from referral channel or from a search based. Then you would also be able to see the visitors, wherein like new and returning visitors. Then we also show you the top web pages that are performing. Let's take an example wherein like you have the same layout for your all your web pages in your website. In that case, we list all the web pages that has the goal that you have tracked. Say for example, you have the sign up button across all the web pages on your website. We list you all the web pages that contains, and we also show you the which web page has a higher conversion rate and higher conversions. Then we show you data based on the device that the users come from, and we also show you the country level data and the conversions and everything. So now in the segment audience feature, this feature is common across all the features of Zoho PageSense. So you would be able to slice and dice the data based on the different combinations. Like say if you would like to see the new visitors coming from a specific source, like direct and everything, you would be able to see the data for that specific audience set. So apart from this, we also have the advanced segmentation feature, wherein like you would be able to see the data for like users coming from a current URL or referral URL or a specific query parameter and source and everything as well here. So this is a very powerful segmentation, and this helps you to segment your audience for all the features across Zoho segment. Then once you're done with the goals, then we have the funnel analysis. In the funnel analysis, as we have previously explained, so you will be able to set steps multiple steps for your website and see how the users are traversing between each step of your website. Let's take an example wherein like you have your home page and then you have the products page and then the cart page. To understand where exactly the users are dropping off between the different pages, you would be able to use funnel analysis to do the same. So in this reports part of the funnel analysis, you would be able to see how many visitors have entered the funnel, that's basically the home page, and how many have completed the funnel, the conversions, and the conversion rate, and the average time they have taken to complete the funnel completely. So here we understand that from the home to the next page, product page, we see close to 98.86% of drop rate. So as you break down the drop rate as well, you would be able to see what percentage of the people have dropped off and what is the drop off that has happened on daily basis as well, and the visitors that have come on a daily basis as well and everything. So this gives you a fair idea like which page that you need to focus on increasing the decreasing the drop off rate between the pages and everything. This is the funnel analysis part. So as we have now finished the track part, now then we are moving to the analyze part. The first and foremost, we have the heat maps. In the heat map, the configuration here is very simple. So you can configure it for a single page, a home page, or you can also configure it for multiple pages using the URL match type that we have here. If you would like to configure it for the entire website, let's say that you want to configure it for your entire website and you're just using the URL contains, and you can just track the data. And you can also weed out the data that you don't want to track it, and also you can use the number of tracking that you want to do, number of visitors that you want to track. So if you're tracking it for multiple pages, in the reports part, we list all the URLs that you have currently tracked, and you would be able to see the reports for cumulatively as well. So on the individual pages and on the data level, you would be able to see the first and foremost the heat map, wherein like you will be able to see the click map of the entire website. So here you would be able to see like the total number of visitors that have come to the web page, and the engaged visitors is basically the number of clicks that has happened, and the visits is the total number of times the visitors have visited your web page, and the total number of clicks and the click to visit ratio. And we also list all the elements that have been on your website and how many clicks that have happened and what is the contribution to the total number of clicks that has happened on your website. So in Zoho PageSense, we also track the dynamic elements. So if you have a drop-down menu or if you have a carousel menu, we show the data for how many clicks have happened on the drop-down menu and the carousel menu as well. So this is the click map. Then we have the scroll map. In the scroll map, this is a mobile view heat map scroll map that I'm showing you. So here you would be able to see a website is made up of multiple folds, and you would be able to see like to what fold of the website that has the users been visiting and everything. So the average fold of your website is somewhere approximately here. So the first screen that they would be able to see is until here. And as you scroll down, you see that the visit percentage has been reducing. So this gives you an idea about like till what level do people visit your website, and to what percentage of the people visit the different folds on your website and everything as well. So this is about the scroll map. And then we have the attention map. So along in the scroll map, along with the percentage of the visitors that is visiting the different folds, we also give you the average time they spend at each fold of your website. So let's take an example. You would like to understand the content that is being like consumed. So if a really good content that you've been like listing about your website or probably like a product is positioned a bit lower in the homepage, and the time that is being spent out there is much higher than the time that is being spent on the first fold, you might consider in that case like if you would like to put the content on top or not, and etc. So, and one more segment of the heat map is that we also have the consolidated heat maps. So, as I mentioned before, like if you have the same layout for all the web pages of your website, you would be able to consolidate the data and you would be able to see a wholesome data for the heat map. So, in the previous, the attention map, here you see that the total number of visits have been only 5894 and the average time is 11.5 and the total visit percentage here. But in a consolidated heat map, we see that the average time is much higher. So this means that the users that have visited the other pages of your website are spending a much more higher time on the first fold of your website. So this is about the heat maps. Now, having done with the heat maps, then we'll be moving to the form analytics. In the form analytics, so you will be able to configure it very simple. So we have multiple types of configuration for form analytics. The first and foremost simple type is that if you're adding the URL match type here directly, and you would be we help you to like directly fetch forms from the URL itself, or you would be able to even add the form ID and you would be able to fetch the form data and everything. So in the form metrics, the data is shown like this. So we would be able to see how many number of visitors have visited the form, the total number of times they have visited the form, and how many have started interaction with the form, and what are the total number of conversions from a form, and how many people have abandoned in the form. In the form metric over time, we show you like the daily data for the status, conversions, and abandons of the form metrics as well. So as you go down, you will be able to see the form submission statistics, wherein like the total number of submissions here has been like 127, and the total number of successful submissions have been 106, and the failed is 21. This means that the people who have tried to submit is 127, and they have not completed the form and they tried to submit. The count is also included here. Then we also show you the average time to submit and the average time spent in the form. Then we also show you much deeper data, the field metrics, wherein like we show you the data for each and every field on your form. So here we show you like how many number of people have focused on each and every field, and number of interactions that they have, number of people who have interacted on the field. And refocus are basically once they have entered the data and they're coming back again to on the same field again. And corrections is when they make changes to the already interactive field. And drop-offs are basically like people who just leave the form at the specific field. We also show you the filled and blank percentage, wherein like you would be able to see the total number of blank fills in the form, and if it's an optional field, you would be able to see the data of how many people have filled the form and how many people have left the field blank and everything. Then we also show you the hesitation time and the total time taken. So by hesitation time, it's the time that a user takes to interact with that specific field. So the ideal time that they spend on your form and the field. So So this gives you an understanding about the importance of the field, or probably like uh, if users are hesitant on giving the data on this specific field or not. And also the average time helps you to understand the total number of times. Say if you have a drop down menu for a country, and this gives you a fair enough idea if that takes longer time, if the drop down is not working properly, or if the users are not able to find the specific country as well. So that's about the form analytics. Then we have the session recording part. So in the session recording, so you would be able to see the complete sessions of the users and how they have been interacting with the website, and they've used the flow and how they're behaving with the website and different pages of the website. So here you would be able to configure it again for the single pages or multiple pages as well. And you can also configure the different number of recordings that you want to track. Then you can choose a specific set of audience and you can track it. You can set it for all visitors, or you can use the custom audience segmentation. And here you would be able to use the different parameters that we saw in the segmentation part. Let's say like you would like to do it only for a specific location, and you can just choose the specific city that you would like to track, and you can just track those users. And then you can choose the privacy, wherein like in Zoho PageSense, in the recordings, we do not record any keystrokes that has been there. Apart from this, if you would like to like block elements that you don't want to track on your website, you can even choose those using the element selectors, and you can just block them. And also in the advanced option, you can also mask all the input elements like buttons and labels, etc. So once you have launched the session recording, so if you all the recordings will be listed as follows, wherein like you would be able to segment the users based on a couple of other more features apart from the predefined segmentation features, wherein like here we also show you like the goals. So any project goal that you have configured in the goals feature will be listed in segmentation as well. If the user has achieved the specific goals, we amount to here. So you can segment the users based on the goals that they have done, number of unique pages that they have visited, the pages, the specific page that they have visited, and the entry page and exit page. So this gives you an idea, or probably like say if you would like to see how users have behaved on a specific page, you can use the following features, and you would be able to see the data for the same. And when if you see a specific recording, so the recording is as follows. Here you will be able to see like how user has interacted. You can also skip the pauses. So if he's navigating between the pages and what sort of interaction that he does, and if the traversing between the pages is being smooth for the user or not. So this gives you a fair enough idea about how the user experience is on your website and everything. We also show you what device he's coming from, and the resolution that he's using and everything. If at all you have configured goals and the goals has been achieved, we also show you that data as well here. So this is about the session recording. So now, as we are done with the track and analyze part, so we now have an understanding about the users or the visitors' behavior on your website, and we would be able to build hypothesis for this. So once we have built a hypothesis, now we need to do the testing part, which gives you a better conversion rate to your website based on two reasons. So we have this A/B testing and split URL testing. So the small minimalistic changes that you would like to do to your website or your single web page, you can do that using a A/B testing. In a split URL testing, if you would like to do a complete revamp of your website, in that case, you can use a split URL testing. Now, starting with the A/B testing part, so this configuration is very simple. You can choose the web page that you would like to do the A/B testing for, and once you have configured it, then we go to the editor part. In the editor part, so we load your web page on real time, and we show you like the original web pages here, which you would not be able to do edit or do any changes to that, but you would be able to create as much variations as possible. So let's say that you have based on the hypothesis, you have understood that the header fold is not being very clear to your users, and you want to change the content and everything on the page. And you would also like say you can use the editor here, and you can change all the style, content, font, and you can also move the images, and you can hide and show, and also add new buttons and everything as well here. Apart from this, we also have the CSS and JS editor, wherein like you can make the changes as and when you like it. So however you would like to change the content, and accordingly you can just do that. So once you have made the changes and you've created the multiple variations that you want, you can do this. You can save the changes, and then you can move to the goals part. So you can configure goals for the A/B testing, so which helps you to understand the conversion rate on the different variations. So you would be able to add any new goals that has been listed here, like click on elements, click on links, page views, revenue as a goal, and then engagements and a custom event as well. So we have predefined the set two goals that has been here, and then you can choose the audience that you would like to set the goal, set the A/B testing for. You can choose a custom audience, wherein like you can configure it for a specific set of audience that come to your website, or you can also have the audience set for all your visitors as well. And you can also choose the participation level. So if you want 100% participation from all the website visitors, or do you want only a 50% participation, you can choose this as well. And then we have the configuration of the A/B testing part. So we segment the traffic equally, but if you would like to do it unequally as well, between the variations, you can do that as well. So once you have configured the traffic, then we have the experimentation method. So we have the two methods of doing the A/B testing experimentation. One is the Bayesian method and the frequentist method. So by default, we get to choose like let you to choose frequentist method, and here we have three different types of data that we populate. So one is a quick trends, which gives you a quick results, but the significance level is only 90%, and then the optimal, which is which gives you a 95% of the significance level and takes a big problem time, and the high accuracy gives you a 99% significance level of the data that we show you, but it takes the longest time as well. So the time that is taken for the A/B testing or any test, split error test that you do in the website, totally depends on the traffic and how they interact with your goals and the conversion and everything as well. So, and in the Bayesian method is a very predefined method, and these two methods are basically industrial standards that has been followed, and we're just using the same. And then we have the experiment activation mode. So you can activate the experiment when the page loads, or you can do it manually as well, where like you can just copy paste this code snippet on the experiment page, or you can also trigger it based on a condition that has been successful. Let's say like once a user signs up or makes a purchase, you would like to do A/B testing, you can do that as well. If you'd like to enable a heat map for the A/B testing and see how the heat map has been plotted for both your all the variations and everything, you would be able to do that. If at all you would like to schedule the experiment data, you can do that as well. And we do also have the integrations for Mixpanel and Google Analytics. So once the configuration part is done, we show you the summary. So in the summary, we give you a brief of the entire configuration that you have done for the complete experiment, like the total number of variations that you have done, and the goals that has been configured, and participation level, and the experiment method that you have chose, and the heat map being enabled. So once you have launched the experiment, then you would be able to go to the reports part, and you would be able to see the reports, wherein like after a while, like you would be able to show, let's assume that after 15 days you get a result for the experiment, and you would be able to see the data here, wherein like you have a winner finally between the variations of the original. We declare the winner here based on the data that we have collected. So this is the general data that we show you about the experiment, where the total number of visitors, the variations, total number of variants, the goal configured, and the time and everything. So here we break down the data for each and every goal that you have configured. For the sign-up goal, we see that the variation 1 has a better conversion rate compared to the original. So the total number of visitors and how the conversion has happened and everything. Again, then we have the time spent on the page goal, wherein like here we see that the original has a better conversion rate compared to the variation 1. But the difference here in the conversion rate is not much, and the difference here is to very high levels. So that is why we have declared variation 1 as a winner for the A/B testing experiment. Then we also have the detailed analysis for the report. So here in the detailed analysis, you would be able to compare the original variation between the variations or an individual single variation as well. So here you would be able to see the data for a daily basis for each and every goal that you have configured, and you would be able to see also the conversion rates that has happened, the conversion that has happened, and the visitors that have come, how the visitors have been split between the original and the variation, and the significance level of the data as well. So this is the graph about the A/B testing comparison between the original and the variations. And as you go down here, you would be able to see the conversion that has happened, the total number of conversions between the original and the variation, the conversion rate, the difference interval. So this is basically the range between the conversion rate values and the improvement time. So how much improvement has been there between the original and the variation, and the significance level of this being successful. So similarly, we show you for the time spent as well, how the difference interval has been happening, and the improvement level between the original and the variation. There's been a drop, and also average time spent and the significance level, which has been 96.85. So here we also suggest you like the how many more visitors needs to be recorded so that you would be able to come, give you 100% confirmation on the data. Then we also have the heat map. So here you will be able to see the heat map being plotted between the original and the variation. So wherein like in the original, you will be able to see that the number of clicks on the sign up button has been 490 and the total number of clicks and how much percentage of the visitors have been engaged and everything as well. Then for the variation one, you will be able to see a new set of data. So you will be able to see like what has been the engagement percentage has been higher, the total number of clicks has been higher, and everything as well. So you will be able to see it for the other variations that I've created as well, and you will be able to see it for the desktop view, tablet view, and the mobile view as well. So this is about A/B testing. Now, as I introduced previously as well, the split URL testing. So let's say that you would like to completely revamp your website. In that case, before so generally like we do the revamping of your website and everything to optimize your website conversions and everything. So, but before going, but it's still not foolproof that your conversion is going to increase once you have revamped. So, in order to understand if your new website is going to give you a better conversion or not, we do a testing before launching them completely to all visitors. So you can test them between the original and the variation. The configuration is here. So except for this specific part, wherein like you configure the two different URLs and two different websites or web pages in two different URLs, the rest all steps are similar to the A/B testing part. So here you can just add the variation and give the URL that you would like to configure for, and you can just add them here. And rest all needs to be followed just like how you have been doing it for the A/B testing part, and the split URL can be launched. The reports and everything are also similar as compared to A/B testing. So now, as you're done with the A/B testing and split URL testing, so this helps you to understand the user behavior and optimizing the content and the increasing the conversion rate of your website and everything. Then we have the personalization. So here, based on the hypothesis, you can also personalize the content that you show for a specific set of audience that come to your website. So the configuration is very simple again here. So you can just uh, give the basic details for your personalization, and in the pages part, you can just choose the web page that you would like to create the personalization for, and then you can create once you've chosen the pages, then you can create the multiple experience that you want to. So here, the different experiences, say for a new visitor, you can configure a different experience wherein like you can choose the audience segment for a new experience, and then you can create the different type of experiences that you want to create. Let's say for a new visitor, the experience is here as only sign up, and for a returning visitor, you can change this to a login. So you can just edit the text here, and you can also edit the call to action button here, and also you can change the functionality here as well. So creating multiple different experiences give a personalized touch as well. As Pavitra was previously mentioning that you can also do weather-based personalization, and you can also do it country-based content. Say like, you want to show country-specific language as well, you will be able to do that. You can change the content and everything accordingly. Then you configure the goals to understand how the personalization has been performing and how the conversion rate has been better for the personalized content and everything as well. Once you have added the goals part, then we come to the summary of the configuration, wherein like we show you the different configurations that you have done, the experiences that you have created, the goals and everything as well. So in the reports part, we show you. So in the reports part, we give you the complete data about like what are the improvement percentage between the original and the personalized content and everything, the increase in revenue, and the reach of the experiences. So what percentage of the audience have seen the different experiences and the personalized content, and the total number of visits, and the date it was published and everything, and the personalized visit count as well. So we give you a daily analysis about the how many different experiences were seen, like the original, how many you are seeing, and how many you are seeing the new experiences, new visitor experiences, returning visitors experiences, and everything as well. So we also show you the experiences performance. The original is giving with the 6,000 visitors and the 7,000 visits is giving a 25% conversion rate. But the new visitors experience is giving you 88% conversion rate. The returning visitors is giving you 80% conversion rate, and the weather base is giving you 100% conversion rate. So we also show you the improvement percentage based on the different experiences that you have created for the conversion and everything as well. Then we also show you reach across the traffic, how the traffic has been, the original has been getting the maximum traffic, and the other experiences are getting a lesser traffic. So this can be increased by changing the audience so that you have configured for the different experiences as well. And the new visitor, so we also show you the audience overview, like how the improvement percentage has been for the new visitors, returning visitors, and the weather-based conditions as well. So we also help, you can also configure the heat maps, and you will be able to see the data for the same here as well. So you would be able to see for the original and how they have behaved, and for the different experiences that they have created as well, the total number of visitors and how they have engaged and everything as well here. So that's about the personalization part. So then once you're done with the personalization part, so then we also have the engage part, wherein like you will be able to engage with your audience or the website visitors that come to your website based on the interaction that they have done and everything as well. The first and foremost, we have the polls part. So the polls, the configuration is very simple. So once you have entered the polls basic details like name and everything, so then you come to the question configuration. In the questions part, you would be able to choose 10 different types of questions: long answers, short answers, checkboxes, NPS scores, rating scales, and smiling and rating and everything as well. So you would be also able to configure multiple questions as well, like say the first question being a radio button and then being an NPS score and then a short answer and everything. You can also do the logic jump between the questions, and you can also move it to a thank you message as well if you'd like to. So once the questions have been configured, then you can choose the visuals part. In the visuals, you can position it which part of the like which part of the screen do you want to show them, and you can also change the background color and everything as well. You can also change the theme to light or dark, and you can also disable the branding of the page sense that has been there. Then you have the audience. So in the audience, you will be able to show the polls for specific device that has been coming. I mean, like the users from a specific device, and you can also choose a custom audience based on the different segmentation that they have done earlier as well. Then in the configuration part, you can choose the target pages where you would like to show the polls, and then you can choose a specific trigger for showing the polls, like as soon as the page loads or after n seconds or something, after the visitor scrolls halfway down the page, and when the visitor is about to exit the page on a custom event as well. So custom event is something that we have already predefined, and you can just choose an event that's been already we have been configured and everything as well. Then you also define the response behavior. So how many times do you want to show the polls for until the visitor completes the poll, or even if the visitor has previously responded to the poll, show the poll only once, or do you want to show it multiple times? So once the configuration done, we show you the summary part, wherein like we show you the entire configuration of the poll. You just give a check and you can just launch the polls. So in the reports part of the polls, so here we show you all the responses that have been done by the different visitors and everything, the browser they have come from, and the short answer they have given, or the radio button they have chose, and the NPS score that they have chose, and everything as well. So in the analysis part of the reports, we give you data like this, but like the total number of visitors and how many people, how many visitors, and the impressions that have happened, the responses to the polls, and this is the data for the first radio buttons. So we give you the percentage of the votes that has come into, and how many have focused on the poll, and how many have started the poll, and how many have answered for the specific question, and how many have abandoned for this as well. This is very similar to the form analytics part. Here we give you the NPS data, wherein like you would be able to see the how the scoring has been for the different detractors, passives, and the promoters as well. And here again we show you the focuses, starters, and answers level as well. And in the short answer and the long answer part, we give you a cloud of all the words, and the most used words is more darker and bigger in size, and the less used words are shown in smaller size. And this is how we show you the cloud of data for the short and long answers as well here. So you would be able to export the polls data from here, and you can save it as well. Then we have the push notifications. For push notifications being shown, before that we need to go to the project settings here. And here in the project settings, we have the web push notification. So for any for sending user the push notifications, we need to allow the users to subscribe first. So this options, as you have seen on your Chrome windows and everything, you would be able to see that would you for to any website, if you go into an Amazon website or anything, you see a pop-up here showing that the website would like to show notifications and everything. So this can be done in two steps. The one-step push notification, wherein like you can show once um, you land into any website, this pop-up comes up, and once the user allows, he gets listed into the push notification list or after 5 seconds of the page load. So this code snippet that enables a push notification needs to be added onto the root of your website. So once this is done, we can do the push notifications for your website. Then we also have the two-step process. So this two-step process, say the one drawback about the one-step push notification is that only for HTTPS website we would be able to show the one-step push notification opt-in options. For a two-step process, this can be done for all the HTTP websites as well. So here you can give the website name. So this can help you to like show this is how the data will be shown. Like you'll be able to see the Zilker would like to show you a notification and everything as well. Then you can display the opt-in box and you can add an image if you would like to. And you can also add a title and a message that you would like to. And you can also have two buttons, block and allow. And you can also choose the how you would like to like allow notification on mobile and everything as well. So once you have done a two-step opt-in, the first step is done. So this redirects you to the another push notification page, and that where the user needs to confirm in order to get opt-in for the push notifications. And the third type is also a custom opt-in, wherein like in the custom opt-in part, you can add the button code at any part of your website, and you can say like you have a blog and you can send notifications out there, and you can just add the code snippet out there, and you can add a button so to get notifications for the blogs and everything as well, or you can have a link mode as well to do the get the notifications for the push notification. So once you're inside a push notification, you will be able to see the configuration part, wherein like you can send a one-time push notification or a recurring push notification or triggered push notification. In the advanced option, you will be able to show it. You can set an option to schedule it later, or in a recurring, you would be able to schedule like a daily basis, weekly basis, or a monthly basis as well, and you can set for a time specific set of time to recur the push notification triggers and everything. Then we have a triggered once he has accomplished a specific goal. Say like once he has landed on the home page, you would want to send a push notification, you can do that as well. So once the configuration is done, then you can go to the messaging part, wherein like you can give a title, then you can give a description for the push notification, the URL for the push notification, which you can track. So basically, like you can track the data and everything as well. The icon that you would like to show here, the banner part, which is optional again, and you can also enable buttons on a push notification. So the buttons can be used to redirect for different pages of your website, or probably or if you're sending a blog push notification, you can just redirect to a blog and everything as well. So once you have done the messaging part, then you can choose the audience. So in the audience part, you can choose the audience similarly like before, like all visitors or any set custom audience as well. Then you can configure the goals to understand the conversion rate from the push notification as well. And in the summary part, you will be able to see the entire configuration of the push notification, and the data is as follows. For specific push notification, you will be able to see like how many push notifications were sent, and how many failed, and how many were delivered, and how many are still yet to be sent, and the total number of impressions from the delivered, and the impressions percentage, and how many people have clicked on the push notification, and the total conversion percentage. You can also see the performance metrics on the daily basis as well for the push notifications, and you can see this based on the impressions, conversions, and new subscribers for the push notification as well. So then we also have the analysis part for the push notification, the performance by time, when the performance has been better, which day of the week or hour of the day the conversion has been maximum, performance by device as well, and how many were sent to desktop, how many were sent to mobile tablet, delivery percentage, impression percentage, click percentage, and conversion percentage. You would be also be able to see the data for the country-wise data as well, and how each country has been performing on the push notification. So here we also have the user list. So the user ID, we store a specific user ID for each and every user, and you would be able to see when the push notification was sent, and is it failed or successful, and you can also see the total number of impressions that is done by the users and everything as well. So this is about the push notifications. The last part on the engage and the Zoho PageSense feature is that pop-ups. So this the pop-ups, as you have seen, like you would be able to show pop-ups on a flash screens and everything as well. You will be able to configure by giving a name, and then you can show the URL that you want to show the pop-up for. And in the configuration part, you can choose the pop-up type like pop-ups or slide-ins or banners. And we also have predefined categories for them, and you can just choose the templates from them as well. Then, or you can just go to the template editor and you can edit however you want to the text, color, the data that you show, the content that is up there, the buttons that you want to show that, and everything as well. And once you have done the template editing and everything, then you can go to the audience part and choose the audience that you would like to show the pop-ups for. So once you're done with this, then you can go to the configuration. And in the configuration, very similar to the post part, you can choose the domain that you would like to show the configuration part, the trigger, and then you can show the response behavior until when you would like to show the pop-ups for the audience. Then in the summary part, you would be able to see the entire configuration of the pop-ups. And then we have the reports part. In the reports, we show you the analysis of the total number of visitors that have seen the pop-ups, the number of times they have visited. Impressions are basically the number of times your pop-up was seen by the visitors, the conversions, and the conversion rate. So you will be able to see a performance over time as well. And the time duration here was very less, so we have broke the data like on a day hardly hour basis as well. Then you would be able to see the conversions, conversion rate, impressions, and visitors, and the engaged visitors, clicks, and everything as well. If you have multiple fields and everything on a polls, pop-ups, in that case, you would be able to see performance by field as well. We have the responses for the pop poll. So as we do not have much of pop-ups responses here, the data is not available. So this is about the, so here we have the pop-ups data. So you will be able to see that we add two fields, the name and the email, and number of focuses, interactions, and refocus and everything that has happened on the different fields of the pop-ups. The responses part, you would be able to see the data, the visitor data that has been there, the emails and the email content that has been coming and everything as well from the pop-ups. So that's with the entire Zoho PageSense walkthrough and the complete features and everything.
If you guys have any further doubts or feedback, please write to us at support@zohopatents.com. We're pretty active on social media as well, so follow us there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day.